Hello everybody, Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Also, this is the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel, and this is the NXT review for the 15th of February 2022. What a miserable show this is. Less than 500,000 people or so, maybe a little more than that, watching this show nationwide, and we will be back as I grab my phone. We'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail with more. This is the NXT for the 15th of February 2022, Vengeance Day. Pete Dunne defeats Tony D'Angelo in a weaponized steel cage match. Why you're opening with a cage match, who knows? Dunn is starting in the cage, kicks off the show, cutting to the back with D'Angelo driven to the building in a car with Vic Joseph mentioning might have been lifted. Dunn attacks D'Angelo immediately after the bell, nails him with a bunch of weapons, and they're tied around the cage. D'Angelo fights back and hits a Falcon Arrow on top of the garbage can, as well as the match kind of going really fast. Dunn then goes off with D'Angelo's fingers early in the match, and then attacks hands. Sort of been the story of the feud. The hands are being attacked continually. Dunn slams D'Angelo's hands into the toolbox and then wraps a wrench, stomps them, and then Dunn tries to escape the cage. D'Angelo hits him with a blast from the fire extinguisher. Dunn then actually manages to score some offense in. Despite having hands tied behind his back, he lands a headbutt and then locks on a head scissors on his opponent. D'Angelo then slams out on the hood and then gets 2 count after DDT. D'Angelo then goes for a powerbomb. Dunn then goes into a table, but Dunn wraps him into a guillotine choke in order to get out of the move. D'Angelo grabs pliers from the toolbox and then cut Dunn's head or his hands free. After D'Angelo goes to the weapon of choice, the crowbar, Dunn catches him, power bombs him through a table. After that, Dunn goes for the weapon of choice, cricket bat, and breaks it over D'Angelo's back. Dunn then picks him up and delivers a bitter end. Gets 2 count. Near falls after that, just goofy. Anyway, D'Angelo then hits Dunn with a low blow and a fisherman buster for a near fall of his own. Dunn then grabs a crowbar, then goes, it was hidden by the ring apron, and hits D'Angelo with it. He then hits bitter end for the second time and gets the pinfall. We cut to a video of Cora Jade being woken up early in the morning by Raquel Gonzalez. They all team together in the Dusty Rhodes Classic for women. Gonzalez wants to train hard, and Cora Jade wants to slack. Creed Brothers and Malcolm Bivens cut a promo backstage saying the only reason MSK won the Dusty Classic last year is because they weren't in the tournament. MSK cuts a backstage promo saying they plan on winning back-to-back Dusty Classics. They mentioned now that they're veterans facing up-and-coming team. Toxic Attraction, Judy Joel, and JC Jane defeats Hartwell and Persha Parata to retain the Tag Team Championship. Toxic Attraction attacks the challengers before the bell. Things get back in the ring. Parata then goes after Hartwell. Heels take over. Mandy Rose distracts Hartwell. Then that spills to the outside. Ref catches Rose, tossing her back in the ring and ejecting her from ringside. Hartwell then starts making a comeback right around the show, coming back from commercial. Hartwell and Nolan are the legal competitors in the contest. Jane and Parata end up brawling on the outside. Jane then tosses Parata on the steel steps, taking her out of the match. She then grabs Hartwell's leg, goes after her with a springboard elbow. Shortly after, Toxic Attraction hits a high flow. We cut to the back where Wendy Cho was asking Dakota Kai to be her teammate in the Dusty Classic, and that happens. Dakota then is talking to someone off screen, and then she's aware of that. Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs, they're in a bar. They're talking about their recent dates with Casey Catanzaro, Caden Carter. Jensen's dates with Carter didn't appear to go too great and referred to him like a brother. Everyone agrees that he's fallen into the friend zone, and this is a complete waste of time. Speaking of another waste of time, Grayson Waller and LA Knight promo segment. LA Knight comes out, cuts a promo, but is interrupted by Grayson Waller, who has two police officers with him. He shows footage of Knight attacking last week and then breaking the restraining order. He's taken out on him. Then Knight plays a video of Waller attacking him from 2 weeks ago. Knight points out that page 2 of the restraining order also said Grayson Waller could not attack him either. Police officer then decides to leave, perhaps realizing that these wrestlers attacking each other pro wrestling show is not something for them to get involved in. Anyway, this is completely goofy. Knight then attacks Waller, tossing him out of the ring before announcing the two of them would face off next week. Why does anyone care about this? We cut back with Barata and Indy Hartwell consoling each other over their loss. They said they'd enter the Dusty Classic. Tommaso Ciampa cuts backstage promo about people thinking they're better than him because of his accomplishment occurred what they consider a farm system. He then said Dolph Ziggler thinks he's better than him but shouldn't mistake his loyalty for weakness. Carmelo Hayes with Trick Williams defeats Cameron Grimes to retain the North American Championship. They start off with back and forth grappling, slower pace. Grimes then hits a big back body drop, gets distracted with Williams on the outside that allows Hayes to attack from behind and go on offense. Hayes then hits a spinning leg drop on Grimes as well as draping the ropes just before they go to communicate. During the picture-in-picture, Williams then hits Grimes behind the referee's back. Commentary plays up the interference with the story of the match thus far. Grimes then begins to make a comeback shortly after returning from break. He hits a big side slam for 2 count. Hayes then hits a lung blower and a springboard clothesline for 2 count. Grimes then hits the next fall and a super kick. Williams then tries to distract Grimes again. Hayes then goes for the attack from behind. The challenger sidesteps things and goes for a poison Rana. Grimes then kicks Williams and delivers flying crossbody champion for 2 count. Grimes then calls for double foot stomp, but Hayes rolls out of the ring. Grimes then follows and gives him the move to the floor. Williams then pushes Hayes out of the way and enters, taking himself. Hayes then tosses Grimes into the barricade, back in the ring. Hayes then locks Grimes up in a crossface. Grimes goes for the ropes. Williams then pulls the bottom rope away from Grimes, ends up countering the hold into a pinning combination. Hayes then whips Grimes next into the ropes and hits a diving axe handle for the win. Trick Williams is good at interfering to help his friends. That's about it. In the back, Kaylee Ray is smashing things with a baseball bat and asked Io Shirai wanted to do this as well. This leads to a montage of them breaking stuff. Zoe Stark injured. Shirai needed a tag team partner for the Dusty Classic, and that's looks to be the choosing of Ray. And ultimately, this show already feels really long, and we've got several more segments to go. Then we go to the Creed Brothers segment here. Creed Brothers, Brutus and Julius with Malcolm Bevins defeat MSK to win the Dusty Men's Classic. I don't know. I mean, I guess this is to be expected. Bivens comes out with a Never Give Up towel that John Cena had. However, it reads, "Nah, you should give up." And then the two teams exchange periods of offense. Creed Brothers gain the advantage and knock both members of MSK to the outside before going to commercial. And then we go back from the break. Lee then makes a hot tag to Carter, hits a snap German suplex on Brutus for a series of kicks on both. Creed Brothers then hits a senton on Jules as Lee tags in and delivers a diving corkscrew right after MSK. Keeps up the attack. Double team moves after this. Creed Brothers then turn things around. Brutus then takes Lee out with a pump kick. Meanwhile, Julius caught a tope attempt from Carter and gives him a spine buster on the floor. He rolls back into the ring, giving him a big clothesline and then gets the pin. Creed Brothers are happy with this win, obviously. They cut to a vignette of Nikita Lyons. She said she'll be making her debut next week. Imperium promo fans keep chanting Walter at Gunther. He then corrected them on how to properly pronounce his name. And then they congratulate the Creed Brothers on winning the Dusty Classic, but then they said they would be ready to face them for the titles. Gunther then said he'll be watching the NXT Championship match between Braun Breaker and Santo Escobar with interest. He's likely to mention something about the mat being sacred. When Sikoa interrupted, Sikoa says that on the island they find the biggest and baddest guy and smack the taste out of his mouth. Then that's what he's looking to do. He says he never did this in the ring, though. His music plays and he leaves, and apparently that match is going to happen sooner rather than later. Dolph Ziggler is interviewed in the back and speaks about Ciampa promo from earlier. Ziggler said he plans on ending Ciampa's hope of becoming NXT champion again by beating him next week. He also said he won the NXT championship match and will be watching Breaker and Escobar closely. Then we go in the back. Pete Dunn congratulates Carmelo Hayes on still being the North American champion for now. Dunn plans on challenging for that match. Apparently, lineup for next week's Women's Dusty Classic begins next week. No teams or matches have been mentioned, so they don't think we care about this either. LA Knight, Grayson Waller, and Dolph Ziggler, Tommaso Ciampa are also announced. Braun Breaker defeats Santo Escobar to retain the championship. Breaker lit the Vengeance Day logo on fire before walking out to the ring, establishing Breaker as the stronger asset here. Escobar goes back and gets things going in his direction with a dropkick. Breaker then regains the advantage shortly after, being delayed. Vertical suplex, lariat, and backbreaker following. Then Shaquille Wild gets up on the ring apron, distracting the champion. Escobar knocks Breaker off the ring apron, lands a tope. This leads to Escobar getting things back in his control after a very long period. Escobar wearing the champion down. Breaker then eventually makes a comeback and hits a flurry of punches, shoulder blocks, and gets back into things with Mendoza and Wild, and then both get up in the ring, and Breaker takes them both out. Then Elektra Lopez distracts the referee. Dolph Ziggler runs out and super kicks Breaker. Escobar covers the champion, but only gets 2 count. This is upsetting to Ziggler. Ziggler then tries to get back in the ring. Tommaso Ciampa prevents him from doing that. They brawl on the outside. Escobar hits a tornado DDT, but Mr. Frog splash attempt. Breaker then hits a spear, pulling the straps down in the singlet. Gorilla presses his opponent into a power slam and gets the pin. I guess this is fine. I honestly don't know why 500,000 people watch this each week. I watch it out of habit, but it's certainly not good. We'll be back with more right after this.